welcome back for yet another BrickGrid beginner blender class. And today we're going to look at making a simple tree, a low poly simple tree. Now there are various ways to do that. In the course of looking at making this this video, I researched several ways, one of them being using Blender's built-in sapling add-on, and that's good. I mean, it's not bad. It's a little bit difficult to understand how it works. It's got a lot of parameters to it, which aren't entirely obvious when you start to use it. So I've decided against using that. There's also quite an excellent add-on called mtree, which you can get from GitHub. I'll try and remember to put the links in the description. But mtree similarly is basically Python-powered scripts that allow you to create trees using a node system, and it does quite a nice job of it. But likewise, I don't think it's really very well suited for a beginner class. It tends to generate very high poly trees, and my machine even struggled a little bit whilst I was doing that. So today we're going to do it the old-fashioned way, and we're just going to kind of wing it and knock something up and hope that it looks okay. So I'm going to add in a default cube. I might even sneeze again in a minute if you're not very careful. Let's go into edit mode. What we want to do is we want to leave ourselves with just a single. The reason I created that cube over there off to the right is just so that I've got something as a vague indicator of scale. That's about the size of a person. So let's collapse these vertices. I think we do that with mesh and merge and at center. And I will put on my statistics, if I can find it. Statistics, okay. Right, so what I intend to do is to make a low poly oak tree. So what we can do is we're just gonna, I'll zoom in a little bit so you can see what we're doing. So I've gone into side view and I'm just going to move that vert down here somewhere. We'll make some root structures. So, and you can extrude the vertices by holding down on Control and clicking the right mouse button. So let's give that a go. So we'll pop that there. So you can see that I'm just clicking my mouse, and I'm just going to try and make something that looks a bit like what I would expect an oak tree to look like. And we can select some of these other verts. Actually, we might have another branch coming from here. And maybe it's all a bit kind of twisty. We don't want to put too many branches. Oops. But we do want some branches. So you can see I'm just selecting some vertices. Oops. And right clicking Okay, that's not looking too bad. So we now need to start thinking about we'll apply an array to this in a minute, but before we do that, I'm just going to set my thing to the active. I can't remember what that's called now. Transform pivot point. There we go. I'm just going to set that to the active thing that's selected, and we'll do a bit of C selection. So I really want to rotate that, and we can see that it's looking good. So we'll do a bit of a rotation on X, and we'll do a bit of rotation on Z, and maybe we will rotate one of these. Rotate one of these branches up a little bit. So let's do that. Rotate on Y, and similarly we will select all of our leaves here. They're not leaves, they're kind of twigs. Let's rotate that on X, and we'll rotate it on Z, and I think I want to rotate, so we're just going to deselect some of these, and we'll rotate that one on X, and we will so I'm just we could do with another branch coming from there, I think. So we'll use the good old-fashioned extrude technique. Maybe one coming up from there. We might need another branch, I'm guessing. Maybe coming from here. So I'm not quite sure where that's going, but at this stage it doesn't really matter. As long as we're putting down some twigs. Okay. That's not looking too bad. So what we can do now is if we go to object mode, deselect that, press A a few times to deselect everything. I'm just going to stick an empty in, so add, we've got to find an empty, it's in there somewhere, empty plane axes at the cursor. I probably want to move that tree in a little bit, but we'll worry about that in a minute. Anyway, so what we're going to do is we're going to go to our modifier stack. We're going to add in an array modifier, which is at the top under generate, so we can say array. We'll take it off relative offset, and we'll go down to object offset, and we will select our empty. And what we can do is we'll put the count up to maybe 5, and then we will rotate the empty on the z-axis. We'll probably look at it from above to do this. It might be a good idea. So we'll just say rotate on Z, and we're just going to rotate that round until we've got something that looks like that. Okay. Now what we can do, we've got the makings of our tree, we can go back by selecting our tree. We can just collapse that array for a second. Now what we want to do is add in a skin modifier. So up to the add modifier, we'll choose skin, and we'll turn on X-ray mode. I don't know if we've actually selected we're in object mode. Let's go into edit mode. So we've got there it is. So we've got what's called the kind of root node. So what we'll do is we will press A to select everything, and then we'll do, let's turn it back on like that. So we've selected that vert, selected everything, and we'll press Control A, and we're going to scale down our skin modifier. So we've got something like that now, which is all well and good. Of course, we could do with adding a subdivision surface modifier on there. So add modifier, subdivision surface. We'll keep it as simple, smack it up to 2. No, okay, let's keep it as Catmull Clark. Right. So this is all well and good, but it doesn't look much like a tree at the moment. So what we can do is we can go back to our array modifier here, and I'm just going to wind the count back to 1. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go to my proportional editing tool. I'm setting it to be, I think sharp is probably the best option here, and we're going to do Control A. I'm just going to fatten that out a bit. Let's go into wireframe. So what we want to do is we want to beef up some of these verts. So we don't necessarily want to select all of them. So let's do C and deselect the endpoints, because we want them to stay quite thin. Don't know if I got that one there. I think there's that one that we've missed. That one. We'll do that one as well. So let's try scaling that a little bit. So Control A. We'll fatten that up a bit. We particularly want to fatten up what will be the trunk area. So we'll select a bit of the trunk. Control A again. Fatten it up. Okay, now we can select these endpoints, all the twiggy bits. We want to try and get as many as we can, try not to miss any. I think there's another one over there somewhere, maybe there. And is that all of them? Got one there, one there. So we want to scale these down a little bit. So Control A, we'll begin to scale those down. I think I need to increase the influence on that a bit. So Control A, scale it down, not too much. Okay, let's see what that looks like. Okay, that's not too bad. Just wondering if we move that skin modifier down a bit. No, alright, let's keep it there. Subdivision. Okay, we could shade that smooth. Shading. Smooth faces? Okay, that's done nothing. Never mind. It's fine. It's all fine. Right. So, let's go back to our array modifier. And we'll knock up the count a little bit. What do we have it at? We had it at 5, didn't we? Okay. It's not looking too bad. I do want to do something with the trunk though. I'd like to twist it round a bit. And in fact that's still quite a lot of vertices. Let's go back to 1. Let's go back to wireframe. Let's play around with these a little bit. So we want to bring that in a bit. And I think we need to do something with this. Don't know what yet though. Let's take down some of these birds a little bit. Control A, scale. G. Just want to make that trunk widen out a bit. Control A, scale. And maybe we could lengthen those. Yeah, right. So we're getting there. We're somewhere near now. Let's stick up our vertex count. Not vertex count. Let's stick up our array count to 5 again. Let's have a look at that and see how that's doing. It's not too bad, but I'm just wondering about. I'm wondering if we can get away with 4. Let's rotate that empty a little bit more. So we're rotating it on the z-axis. And we just want to bring that tree round a bit. Maybe something like that. It's not looking too bad. Tell you what I'm going to do. I think we need to give those branches a little less room, a little more room. Not quite sure what we need to do with them. Let's go back to our count. Knock it back down to 1. Go into wireframe mode. Go into edit mode. I think I'm gonna bend this branch, and I might shrink it as well. So let's do it from here. Oh, So let's rotate that on the z-axis. That's fine. I might do something similar to this one. Let's rotate that on X. And same for this one. You're really just trying to get something that, let's rotate that on Z. Okay. So you're just really tweaking the values. To get something that looks half decent. Okay. So let's stick that modifier back up. Don't know how long we've been running for. I'm keen to keep my eye on the time. Okay. I would like to get those branches so that they weren't quite so intersecting each other, so let's try and do that if we're able. We'll need to move that one in a bit, I think. Actually, let me just, I'm going to go up to my proportional editing and say connected only, so it only affects the branch that we've got selected. Rotate on Z. Let's see what that looks like with our okay, that's not too bad. I think one of those is going to have to move in a bit more. I think this one here. Oops, daisy. So we can select that and then select these. I'm going to move it down a bit, so I'm going to rotate it that way a little bit, and then I'm going to rotate it that way a little bit. Okay, and maybe we will selected one then. Maybe we will rotate that upwards a bit, like that. Okay, let's put our count back up. Okay, I'm a bit happier with that. Some of these twigs are getting a little bit spindly, so let's just have a look at thickening some of them up a little bit. Oops, a daisy. Right, so I think we need these bits of the branch to be a little bit thicker. Maybe that one. That one's not too bad. Maybe that one. So we can do a Control A and just thicken them up a little bit. That one's thick enough now. Not sure about these two there, so let's try a little bit more on those. Okay, I'm happy with that now. So let's knock our count back up to 4. Yep, so that's not too bad. So I think we can probably apply that array, maybe, or maybe I'll just take a copy of that tree and hide it so that we can get back to it if we need to. I think that's what I'll do. So let's rename some of our geometry that we've got here. Let's call this human. Let's call this tree. Let's call it tree. I'm going to duplicate that with Control D, which of course didn't work. Not quite sure why it didn't work. Did it work? No, it didn't. I think we need to copy the empty as well. So let's do duplicate object, Shift D. Okay, that's fine. So we'll just move that out the way and we'll hide it. So we've now got a copy of our tree, which is fine. Put we've hidden it, that's fine. So let's go back to this tree. Let's just apply that modifier. So we've now got the skin and the subdivision modifier on there. So we could probably apply those two if we wanted to. Let's just do it. So let's apply the skin, let's apply the subdivision. See what that looks like. Not too bad. Let's see if we can shade that smooth. Yeah, that's not too bad. Let's go into wireframe. What I want to do is I want to twist this. I want to twist the tree, and I want to twist the trunk of the tree. So let's see how that works. Let's see if we can do that. I just want to add a bit more depth to it. So what we could do is deselect a load of stuff because we don't want to twist those bits. Oh, hello. Let's go into edit mode. So we want to select, well, deselect rather, we want to deselect this chunk, and we probably so let's see, probably try smooth, connected only, looks fine. So let's try rotate around Z, something like that. Let's have a look and see how that looks. Okay, that's not looking too bad. Right, so we've done all of this, which is great. Let's add a texture to it, a material to it rather. So we can go new material. We'll call this bark. Then we'll go into the node editor. So let's swap that for the node editor, shader editor rather. Now I've managed to find a bark texture. I'll try and remember to put it in the links for the video. So we basically just need to add that in. So we can highlight our principled shader. We can go to somewhere in here there is an option to add in multiple. I can't remember where it is now. Which annoys me, but there we are. Okay, I'll do it in my file manager. So I've got it in my downloads folder somewhere. Downloads, got tree textures, and let's have a look at the ones we need. Basically we need that one, we need, whoa, hello, we need all these ones that say bark, so we should be able to drag them and drop them straight in here. Okay, that didn't work, but it doesn't matter. Oh, let's try that a different way. I'm still trying to figure out how to add in. Oh, so annoying, I can't remember how to do it. Okay, not to worry. We'll do it the old-fashioned way. So let's stick in the bark texture, the diffuse texture, the displacement texture, the normal texture, run out of space, and the specular texture. Okay, cool. So basically we just need to stick the colour into the base colour. Oh, that's ambient occlusion, okay. Which I don't think we're too fussed about, to be honest. Let's stick the colour into there. Oh, we've got a specular one, we have, I believe. Specular into there. Displacement, have we actually got a displacement? We've got a normal, let's stick that over there. Let's add, we want a normal, if I can find it, is that a vector? Normal map, that'll do. So, and we want to set that to non-colour data, colour into colour, and then you want to collect that into the normal. I think we got it. Yep, there we do. We did. Let's see what that looks like now. I might try and change. Oh, we don't want that. There you go. It would be good to have a mapping node on there. Have we got a mapping node? Yeah, we have. So I've just stuck a mapping node in there. Oh, that's okay. Okay, let's say that point. Okay, that's fine. I think that's the wrong kind of thing, but never mind. Let's see what that looks like. Okay, that looks generally quite horrible. I'm just wondering why. Don't think that's the right node. I'm looking for. Okay, yeah, doesn't really matter. It's just a bit a bit rubbish. I'm just debating why that looks so rubbish. Let's stick these over here. Let's do Shift Control T. Okay. I think that's what we were missing earlier on. Let's try that again then. Select all of these. Delete. Oh! Set in a BSDF. Shift Control T. So it's looking for our tree textures. We want to do all of these. Nothing happened. Shift Control T. Tree textures. All of those. Can't quite under that. I think it's because some of them are wrongly named. I do believe that doesn't look like, oh, that's a diffuse. That's better. Control T. Let's try the diffuse. We don't want the AO. We'll have the normal. We'll have the specular. Let's say, okay, that's much happier. Right. And it's given us a nice mapping node, which is much more what we want. But it's currently set to UV. Might go with generated. Oh, mapping. Point texture vector normal. Oh, that looks kind of funky. It's not really what we want though. But we can play with the options. Oh, that was kind of nice. Quite like it set to normal. Yeah, anyway, we've got an option to scale it as well. It's all a bit stretchy, isn't it? Single image. I might set this to box mapping. Box mapping is kind of cool. Maybe that scales a bit off. We want to set it to about 1, don't we? And I think we've got a rotation problem there. Maybe. Ooh, that doesn't do much. We could try it back as UV, couldn't we? It's not very happy because we haven't actually UV unwrapped it yet. We could try that. We could try UV unwrapping it. So let's go into our UV editor and let's say new, and that's fine. 32-bit float, don't need alpha. make it a grey colour just so you see what we're doing. Okay. Go into edit mode, select everything, select U, smart UV project, that's fine. Okay, let's see how that looks. It looks pretty horrible, if truth be known. Try a reset on that, see if we can do a different kind of follow active quads. No active face, of course there isn't. Let's try that again. Still no active face. Okay, perfect. It's because it needs a face selected. Okay, so I think if you do U follow active quads, okay, then do A, and then U and follow active quads. Yeah, that's better. Okay, cool. Let's see what that looks like. Oh, that generally looks horrible. We may have to play around with this mapping a little bit. Let's do reset. Let's do unwrap. Oh, let's do smart. Oh, come on. Let's do unwrap. Reset. Smart UV project. Scale to bounds. Island margin. Don't really care. Okay, well I think that's probably the best we're going to get at the moment. And although it's not great, we've got something that we can play around with later. So it was just a matter of getting something, anything really. Okay, I don't know quite how long I've been whittling on for, so I'm a bit conscious of the fact that I don't want to bore you to death. So I think at this stage we will probably just put that back to our properties. Let's go up to File, say, we will say external data automatically pack into blend file. And we'll save that. I'm going to call it save as. I'm just going to call it tree tutorial. Making sure that I've got a full stop in there between tree tutorial blend and say save. And what we'll do next time is we will make some branches, some little twigs with leaves on. We'll sort out the dreadful mapping on the tree, and we'll see if we can go about getting some leaves on it and making it look a bit sexier. Okie dokie, well thank you so much for taking the time. Do give the video a like or subscribe or comment, that would be nice. And thanks for watching, take care, bye for now.